Good morning, beloveds. Foster's in the room. Whether he'll make a cameo, that's what my friend Bill used to call it, I don't know, but he's here. So, okay. The iPad is not cooperating on the angle. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Hopefully if I don't mess with it, it won't go anywhere. Okay. That was a bit of a villain laugh right there. All right. So we are Science Mind Text, Part 5. We have moved into other teachings from the Christian Testament, also called the New Testament, but you know. All right. We are on 484. We are starting with the spirit of adoption from Romans 8:15. We have not yet received a spirit of bondage, but one of adoption. This is a mystical and beautiful saying. It implies that we are adopted by the Supreme Spirit as its own offspring. How could it be otherwise, since we are made of the same stuff as the central fire? There is no fear in spirit, and there will be none in us when we realize who and what we are. God wishes us well and knows only that we are now free and perfect. This is the spirit of freedom, whereby we are all born free. Okay. Yeah, I guess I just need to go read Romans. All right. Joint heirs with Christ. Romans 8:16 and 17. The inner spirit, which is God, bears witness to the divine fact that we are the children of God, the children of the Most High. As children of God, we are heirs to the heaven of reality, joint heirs with Christ. This means that we are all one in Christ as we are one in God. Christ typifies the universal child, which each is an individual member. Our expectation looks for a more complete manifestation of our own inner divinity. The evolution will bring this about. Evolution will bring this about, as it does all things. We are an unfolding principle of life. Truth, perfect law, and action. We wait for a more complete unfolding of our inner life. It is already within the perfect way and the eternal truth. We wait for the unfolding of ourselves through the law inherent within our real nature. All right, there's two things that I want to talk about on this one, just really quick. One, let's remember that Christ is a consciousness, and that each and every one of us are born with it. My mother is an electrical engineer. So I tend to think about the Christ in computer terms. What I like to remind you is that the Christ is software, and it is factory installed. You come pre-installed with the Christ consciousness. The question is, are you going to access it? Now, the good news is the password to access the Christ consciousness is love. That is what Jesus came to teach. Therefore, that's the password to activate that software that you come pre-installed with. Now, he calls us unfolding people. And I can imagine so we have the Christ consciousness. And as we grow up, we've had all these other, if we're going to use the computer software, we've had all this other software, all these other programs added on. And so the Christ consciousness has kind of gotten lost in all of that additional software that we've had added on. Now, so if we are unfolding, the problem that we're having is that we've got so much other additional software that the part of us that is like the Christ consciousness, it's trying to unfold and it keeps hitting all this other software, I'm thinking of paper unfolding. it's a very visual image for me. And so some of the work that we need to do is to go and look at all of the software, all of the added software that we have had added on to us, because a lot of it isn't even ours. There are a lot of things that have been added on to us, beliefs and things that we didn't choose, like that were chosen by people that love us, and sometimes by people that didn't, because we have this tendency to take on other people's beliefs, especially as children. And so some of this unfolding is to delete some of that software that's been added onto us that isn't serving us, that's actually cluttering up and getting in the way of the other programming that, i.e. the Christ software, that would make things a whole lot more streamlined. So some of the work that we need to do in this unfolding process is to delete old programs, which then will free up our RAM, random access memory, and our ROM, read-only memory, so that the software that would actually benefit us has room to run. All right. That's a very computer, but like I said, my mom's an electrical engineer. Sometimes I think in terms of computers, and Ernest was clearly a gardener. He thinks in terms of garden, and here I am thinking in terms of whatever makes sense, right? All right, so that's my two thoughts on the joint heirs with Christ. The inner light from Romans 8:21. The creature shall be delivered from bondage. As an inner light dawns, it delivers the outer life from bondage. This is in line with the teaching that everything is from within out. When the soul knows freedom, the law will free the body. The outer life will express health, happiness, and success. All things work for our good. Even that which we call evil is salutary, leading us to the way, the truth, and the life. Suffering should teach us a lesson which would cause us to refrain from making more mistakes. It carries a blessing with it when we learn how to garner knowledge from experience. Okay. Oh. Suffering is not necessary. Suffering is not necessary. And that's one of those unfolding things that I would like to unfold into. It's like, I'd like to learn without having to suffer to do it. Experience is very important. Experience is very important. What I like to call wisdom is knowledge plus experience. That is wisdom, because we've actually practically applied the knowledge that we've gotten. Well, you know what? You don't have to suffer to gain the knowledge anymore. You don't have to suffer to gain the wisdom anymore. You don't have to suffer to gain the experience anymore, right? And that's something that people need to know. The Christian teaching does have a lot of suffering in it. It's not necessary. If we can learn from our mistakes, that's fantastic. If other people can learn from our mistakes without having to make those mistakes, that would be great. If we could learn from other people's mistakes without having to make those mistakes, then we could lower the suffering in the world. Okay? So I just want to remind you, suffering isn't necessary. We do it because we think it's necessary, but it is not. All right. Whether that had anything to do with Romans 8:21, I don't know, but that's my take on it. All right. Predestination. Romans 8:29. What? Okay. This is the quote. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate. God foreknows God's own perfection and the perfection of God's entire creation. So it is foreknown and predetermined by the divine mind that all shall be children of God. Humanity cannot forever keep themselves from their birthright. All will eventually be saved from All will eventually be saved from themselves, as there can be no such thing as eternal damnation. To believe in such an absurd doctrine is worse than ignorance. Emerson tells us that there is no sin but ignorance. God knows only perfection. When we know as God knows, our troubles will be rolled up like the scroll and numbered with past illusions, which I believe is a quote from Emerson. Okay. He didn't put it in quotes, but I'm pretty sure I've heard Jesse use that quote before, so I'm pretty sure that's from Emerson. All right. So science of mind does not trade on predestination. They do not trade on fate. All right. But in here, what he is saying in Romans is that, and I like that he says, Ernest says, we're going to be saved from ourselves. Because frequently that's who we need to be saved from. You know how I was just going on about suffering? Because we believe suffering is necessary, we need to be saved from ourselves. We need to be saved from that race consciousness that believes in hell, that believes in the devil, that believes in evil. You know, we need to be saved from that. And the good news is according to Ernest, God knows that eventually all of us are going to figure it out. How long it's going to take us? Well, that's the question. All right. Okay. God's will for its creation. Roman 8:31, excuse me. If God be for us, who can be against us? If God is all there is and the universe is one, then there is no power, presence, or law against the truth. One with the truth is a totality. If our whole endeavor is to be and to do that which is constructive, then we are with God, and we may be sure that God is ever with us. God knows no outside. God is ever inside. The outer rim of reality is exactly at the center of itself. Nothing can keep us from the love of God. What a comfort. Nothing can keep us from the love of God. What a comfort. What joy to know that all is well with the soul. What untold suffering have we had because of our doubts and fears. And we are told not to be afraid, for it is the Spirit's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Humanity alone has tried to rob us of our birthright, the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. Let us honor God more and humanity less. Let us seek within for the cause. It can be found in no other place. There is nothing that can keep us from this inner wisdom of the eternal reality. Okay. Ernest, you're making me a little crazy. Well, Ernest is not making me a little crazy. Me trying to figure out what Ernest is talking about is making me a little crazy. God's will for its creation. Here's the thing. There's this fairly terrible movie that I watched 100 years ago. Okay. And now I'm not 100 years old. Movies haven't been around that long, so you know I'm exaggerating. But I believe it's called Bedazzled, and it stars Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. And Elizabeth Hurley is playing the devil. And Brendan Fraser sells his soul to the devil. Okay? But there's this pivotal scene, and it is one of the most incredible scenes that I've ever seen in any movie, where Brendan Fraser ends up in jail, and he has this conversation, and the character in the prison cell with him is a rapper, but I don't remember which one. Because he's not one of the real big popular ones. At least I don't think so. It's been a minute since I've seen that. But they're having a conversation about the soul. And this character, who's dressed all in white, by the way, tells Brendan, you can't sell your soul to the devil. It's not your soul to begin with. Why is that so important? Because the soul that we all use is God. It's God's soul. We can't sell something that we don't own. Okay? We individualize a little part of that soul. Emerson calls it the oversoul. We individualize a little part of that soul. And that is who we are. So here's the amazing news. Nothing can happen to that soul. Evil cannot touch that soul because it's not ours. It belongs to God. It belongs to the Spirit. It belongs to the divine. Whatever word you want to use. It's not ours. So we can't screw it up. We cannot screw it up. And that's what that particular reading reminds me of. You know, let me pull it back so that I can grab that particular, hang on. I'm in the wrong part of the book. All right. Nothing can keep us from the love of God. What a comfort, what a joy to know that all is well with the soul. That's what he said. The soul. Nothing can keep us from God, because what makes up the essential part of us is that little bit of soul that we have individualized for our own use, but it doesn't belong to us. So we cannot screw it up. We can't. No matter what we do, we cannot mess up that soul. And that soul is what makes us free. Because it doesn't know anything other than the good. It doesn't know anything other than the love. It doesn't know anything other than the joy. It doesn't know anything other than the unity. And that's why it's so important that we go back within to that soul, the soul. We go to the divine within. We go back to that, which is the most essential essence of us, with the knowledge that there's nothing we can do to screw it up. And that eventually we'll figure it out. All right. So I think that that's where I'm going to stop, because that's pretty incredible. And I just realized I put the dot in the wrong place. So let me move the dot. We will start tomorrow on the bottom of 486 with the renewing of your mind. Wondering if this is all going to be, no, we got 2 more in Romans, 3 more in Romans, and then it looks like he's going to leap into Corinthians. And then Ephesians. And Philippians and Thessalonians. So, yeah, this will be fun. All right, so I'm going to just do, the quick housekeeping is to remind you an easy way to support the center is to engage with our social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So I encourage you to go and like and follow and subscribe and share and comment. It bumps us in the algorithms, and then more people see our stuff, and we appreciate that because we think that we have good stuff to share to help people to live their best life. We try and keep it light, tight, and bright. Yeah, there we are. I will also remind you, if you want more information about the center and who we are and what we do, you can go to our website, which is creativelife.org, or you can get on the constant contact email, which is info at creativelife.org. There we go. And it's a real person doing it, so you get 1 email a week unless something unusual happens. Nobody else will see your email address. I do tend to forget to mention that. And the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll either take you right to the information you want or to the person that can help you get it. All right. And there we are. Yes, so now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day. Get this week started off on the right foot day, or the left foot, whichever one you prefer. I mean, if you're lefty. A silly day, a have some fun day, a get your stuff done, a you got this day, a take care of yourself day, a It may be cooler today, but still drink plenty of water day. A, stay out of the heat day. Don't spend too much time in the sun, but go get some sunshine day. A good day, because I'm out of adjectives. Take care of yourself. No, a good day. What's the rest of it? I screwed. I got out of a good day. And if that is too much pressure, there we go. If that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. Kind of like sapling, right? We were talking about unfolding. That's what saplings do. They kind of unfold. That's who you are. Unfolding. Constantly unfolding. All right. So here's where I remind you, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. I will be back with you. I say 9, but really, honestly, I'm kind of hitting it about 9:15. Right now, that's where it fits best in my schedule. So 9:15. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.